This is my older brother Callum, and this is my little sister Ella. The three of us are super close. This here's my mum Kylie, and this is my dad Ian. The two of them fell in love when they were 18 and 19, had us and got married at 25. But this isn't their love story, this is about my dad's parents, my grandma, Margaret, and my pop, Philip. If it wasn't for them, we all wouldn't be here today. So, I decided to interview my grandma Margaret and hear all about their romance and how it came to be. Can you tell me about the first time that you met Pop? Well, your husband.
Well, I went down to congratulate a friend that I went to school with on her engagement, and her fiancé was there, and he came from the mountains, and I didn't know it at the time, but he must have thought that I would be really good for a friend of his. So he and another friend of Philip's arranged for us to go on a picnic so Philip and I could meet. The first thing I remember, I was going down the steps onto Roseville Station, and this strange fellow was looking up, and the sun was, he wore rimless glasses, and the sun was on his glasses, and he looked like Ginger Miggs, and he had a suitcase with him. And then we went on this launch picnic, and the only thing he said, he was very shy, and the only thing he said to me that day was, "Could I have another lemon cheese tart, please?" So that was the end of that day. And then in the next week that followed, I had a phone call from him asking me if I'd like to go out to the pictures. And I didn't know it at the time, but these two friends had met and locked him in a phone box till he rang me up and asked me out. And I'm thinking, I better go out with him because he's so odd that I knew he was really shy, and I thought, if I say no, it won't be good for him. So I said yes, and then the phone went down, and I went out and said to my mother, "That was that strange fellow I met last week asking me to go to the movies, but I don't know where or when." And next night he rang up and made arrangements for me to meet him in a bookshop in Martin Place, which we did. And unbeknownst to me, his friends were hiding behind the other bookcases to see what went on.
I didn't know that.
Didn't you? So we just kept going out and going to the movies and that. I think we were holding hands by that stage. And the next time we went up to visit his mother, I'd gone up to visit his parents by this stage, and she said, "Philip, a friend of hers, who she named, saw you walking down Martin Place holding hands with a girl." She was horrified. Oh. And then he wanted to become really serious, and I said, "Look, you don't even dance." Or, I used to love dancing, and he said, "I'll go and learn." Oh. I can't remember much, but anyhow, we learned to dance, and he ended up doing. And then he was getting really serious, and I was really mixed up because he wasn't what I'd sort of expected. I'd been going out for sort of a couple of years. I sort of had a bit of a breakdown, and then my mother took me away to the mountains for a week, which is where Philip lived. It was really early in the morning, and he rang me at the boarding house, and I agreed to see him. So evidently he was on the phone at home, and he had a pants and a singlet on, so he just hung the phone up and raced. It would have been about 1.5 to 2 kilometres, and he just ran over in the freezing cold. And I went outside and waited for him, and I saw him running up the street in this singlet and everything. There was this little old lady walking up the path, and I sort of ran down to meet him, and then as we got to this little old lady, we threw our arms around each other, and that was it.
It sounds like a rocky beginning, but after that hug in the middle of the street in front of that little old judgmental lady, she realised that even though his dancing was a little subpar, she wanted to spend the rest of her life with him. Together they had 3 beautiful kids, my dad, my Uncle Andrew, my Auntie Mandy, and 9 grandchildren. And that's what brought us here, all together at their 60th wedding anniversary. The boy who looked a bit like Ginger Meggs really was her Prince Charming after all.